and gals, it's Swiss Player Rocket, and today we're gonna be reviewing Gemini Man, which stars Will Smith and, Will Smith. Yeah, I guess it is kind of interesting having, one person play the two main characters of the story. Imagine if I did that. Can you imagine that, Lena? Yeah, I could imagine that'd be pretty crazy. Yep. Aren't you gonna do the review? Alright, yeah, anyways, without further ado, let's get into it. So, yeah, as always, we're gonna start off with a non-spoiler review, and then we're gonna go into some spoilers. So to start off the non-spoiler review, I want to talk about why I wanted to watch this movie and, of course, review it. Well, it's because of two things. First reason is that I actually recognized the director, who was Ang Lee, who actually directed the Life of Pi movie back in 2012, and that was a pretty solid movie. And man, it was like 7 years ago. Man, it was a long time ago. But yeah, I was actually interested to see how I was gonna tackle, the idea of this movie, which is of course a fun idea, which is my second reason why I wanted to watch this movie, which of course is it's Will Smith versus Will Smith. That's definitely gonna bring a lot of people into the cinema for sure. Sure, cloning isn't new to films, but it's still actually pretty interesting to see it here because they actually did something very new with the idea. I mean, as far as I know, this hasn't been done that much, which of course is, it's not just, replicating a person to look exactly the same in every single way, except this one is more of a better version than you. It's more younger, it has a better past, I guess, as they mentioned in the trailers and whatnot. So, yeah, it's actually pretty interesting. It's more of a clean version of you. So, yeah, it could actually lead to some very interesting ideas for the story. And they actually did a pretty good attempt of giving us a good story with this idea. So, yeah, I really like what they did here. Of course, there is action in this movie, and it's actually done pretty well here. It's not as, crazy or as violent as, any of the other movies that I have reviewed in the past. Like, it's not like somebody's, chucking like 5 knives at a single person, or nobody's like unleashing super powerful forces into their enemies or whatever. There's nothing like that here. It's some pretty tame action, and it's actually pretty refreshing, but still pretty entertaining as well. So I really like what they did here. So yeah, that's pretty much all I can say for non-spoilers. So yeah, it's not really a big movie. Don't expect too much of it. With Will Smith versus Will Smith, there's not really much farther that you can go with that idea. So yeah, don't expect too much with this. Don't expect a sequel as well. So I bet there's not gonna be a sequel to this. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna put 3 Will Smiths or something like that? But yeah, just have a fun time. You're still gonna have a fun time, even though it's not gonna be crazy or whatever. So yeah, you'll have a decent, fun time with it. So yeah, if you just want to waste time. So yeah, that's all I have to say. So without further ado, let's cue the spoiler warning. So as I mentioned in the non-spoiler review, I said that they actually have a pretty good attempt at making a story revolving on this idea. So basically what they did is that of course the clone is actually a more cleaner and more younger version of the main character, which is more older and more experienced. So yeah, they kind of have this kind of relationship like in movies with a father and son relationship, or a master and apprentice kind of relationship. Like in some movies it'd be like, don't do the mistakes that I have done in the past. You can still walk out of this, or something like this. So yeah, so I kind of feel like they were trying to go for that, but in a bit of a different twist, because it's a clone now. It's actually you, a different version of you. It's not somebody else, it's you. So yeah, it's actually pretty interesting. So yeah, I really like what they did with the story. It's not really too unique, but it's still a pretty cool idea, I guess you can say. One of the main weak points that I found out while watching the movie is the the side characters. I mean, they could have been interesting, like Danny and all that, but they didn't do much with it. They kind of want to focus on the whole clone idea. So yeah, it's kind of disappointing, especially that character. Dang it, I forgot his name. I bet I can put his picture on screen. Yeah, it's the guy who played Wong in Avengers. They didn't do much with him because they set him up as a pretty fun, pretty fun character, but they didn't do much with him, and he just dies in a, when a missile hits a car, and we didn't actually get to see his, tragic death, whatever, like most movies do. That can easily fix that, but you know, the idea like, oh god, I'm gonna die, and whoosh. But that didn't happen. They just, you know, it just sees the missile go into the car. You didn't get to see him come out, except, you know, all the other characters come out. So yeah, that's the end of him. So yeah, I guess the side characters are kind of the weakest point, I guess we can say, of this movie. So overall, it's alright. I mean, I kind of feel like that's a bit disappointing considering the last movie that I watched with the same director was actually a pretty great film, which of course is Life of Pi. So yeah, it's kind of disappointing that this movie is just, you know, alright. So yeah, but I didn't came into that movie with high expectations anyway. I didn't thought this was gonna be a big movie or whatever, a big incredible movie. So yeah, I guess it kind of evens out. So yeah, that's all I have to say. So yeah, let's cut to the outro. So with that said, alright guys and girls, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. So as I mentioned in my last video, you know, this is gonna be my last video of, you know, October, and you know, you'll see me again later on in November because I'm gonna be busy in, you know, this October, so I won't be able to release any videos. So yeah, just stick around and stay tuned. And of course, as I mentioned in my previous video, you know, go watch my short film, support it, because I know I keep mentioning this. It's a bit weird that I keep mentioning this a lot, but please go watch that, you know, short film, and you know, maybe as well comment especially, so you know I can improve in, you know, future short films that I'll make on this channel. So I'll see you guys later. So until then guys, rock it on, and I'll be back.